Hi, I'm Bob Trask. This is our weekly reset. Today we're going to be talking about something I really think is important, and that's taking charge of my thinking. Taking charge of my thinking. If we take charge of our thinking, we take charge of our lives. We are not our thoughts. You are not your thoughts. I know, our thinking just goes on all the time. Our brain is an amazing, amazing machine. It never shuts off. In fact, it works more and harder when you're asleep than it does when you're awake. Oh man, this thing is really churning all the time. It's an amazing, beautiful, powerful, wonderful instrument. The subatomic particles of your brain are so amazing. They make up the cells, and the cells of your brain, the neurons, connect with each other through these little synaptic gaps. How many synaptic gaps in your brain? Trillions, trillions, more than there are planets and stars in the Milky Way galaxy in your brain. And it's constantly working, constantly thinking. Here's the problem. I said, I am not my thoughts, you are not your thoughts. Here's the problem. If we don't watch out, our thoughts take over our lives and they become us and they run our lives. So whether we experience terrible things or whether they're good things, or whether we can actually charter a course that brings goodness and beauty into every area of our lives, it's all dependent on thinking. And one of the greatest joys in life is knowing that we can only make a slight shift in our perspective, in our attitude, to make all of our dreams come true. Because our thinking is creating our reality. And that reality that it's creating is not the one we exactly want. Oh boy, there's so many incredibly beautiful things in our lives right now. I mean, just look around in your life at the relationships and just the clothes you're wearing and the wealth and the home, the car, all it's just so amazing. But there's a big hole in your life also. And I mean, I have to say there's a hole in your life because there's a hole in my life. There's a hole in everybody's life because we are becoming. We're not there yet. We're always becoming. That's why we're here. If we were already what we were supposed to be, where we were supposed to be, how we were supposed to be, the game would be over. We could just go back home. But in fact, we're still becoming. And we're not becoming if we keep rehashing, revolving all those same old thoughts. So we have to start thinking new. There's this movement in the world called the New Thought movement. Unfortunately, in the New Thought movement, there's very little new thought. They've got a new coat rack that they hang everything on, and they think that that's new. And God bless them. They are pioneers. They're reaching out, but they get stuck because we all get stuck. People say, well, I'm gonna start doing affirmations, and I'm gonna start meditating, and I'm gonna get my life together. And they get that little beautiful, wonderful set of self-disciplines going on, and then they stay there. But we aren't supposed to stay anywhere. We're supposed to be evolving. And our thinking is supposed to be evolving. We're supposed to be getting new, powerful thoughts about who we can be, what we can do, what we can have, so that we can continue to move forward and be an asset to ourselves and to the world that we live in. We don't have to tackle big things like changing partners, getting a divorce, or changing our jobs, or moving to another state or another country. We don't need to do that. We only need to determine our thinking so that it serves the lives we want. And that's the big key right there, is want. Because I got all my thinking going on here, and it's habitual. All my thinking's going on over here, and here I am back here, and I say, yeah, but I want something different, but my thinking is already set. My thinking doesn't recognize this new want. So in order for us to get where we're supposed to go, because our desires are sacred. I'm not talking about lust or greed. I'm talking about fulfillment of our lives, being able to be more of who we came here to be and more of who we came here to be for each other. Wow, what an incredibly beautiful idea for me to be able to be all I can be so that I can be more for you. Boy, that the energy that flows back and forth between us then is so incredible. And now, with just a little dedicated effort, each of us can make our dreams come true and live with calm, contented hearts. Buddha said, "What you think, you become. What you feel, you attract. What you imagine, you create." Can I stay with that just for a minute? What you think, you become. What you feel, you attract. Do you know that all of your feelings, all of your emotions, all of your reactions, delightful, wonderful, healthy, powerful, joyful, and dark, bitter, angry, resentful, all of those, every single one of those starts with your thoughts, starts with your thinking, starts with your mind, all of it. We think a thought and then we have an emotion. We don't have an emotion and then think about the emotion. The emotion doesn't come first, the thinking comes first. And what a gift it is to be able to change every part of your life by changing what's within you. And if you're like me, you've heard that before. Nearly every motivational speaker, famous and beginner, is telling you that you can change your life. But have they done it themselves? Do we, the motivational speakers, inspirational speakers, do we know how that process goes in a foolproof and efficient way? One thing we're all right about it's attitude. But I think most people don't understand what attitude is. It simply, it doesn't mean being willing or not being willing. It doesn't mean being angry or not being angry. It doesn't mean being despondent or not being despondent. It doesn't mean being angry or resentful or any of those things, or being happy or joy. Attitude does not mean that. Attitude means the direction you're going. Now, as you probably know, I'm an old sea dog. I'm an old sea captain, and when you're on a boat, what we know is that the direction the boat's going and the way it's going, the way it's operating, is the attitude of the boat, the attitude. So my attitude is the course I'm on. Simply the course I'm taking to get what I want. And if I'm on the wrong course and my erroneous thinking will take me on the wrong course, if I'm on the wrong course, I'll never reach my dreams. Changing my attitude means changing my course. It means changing my thinking. It's as simple as that. So now then, let's talk about the correct course to get what we want. Everything starts inside of me. Everything starts inside of you. Everything. You and I live in a world of our own. Now, that's a concept that's pretty startling when you think about it. You look around you, the other people in your life, the other people on this Zoom call, the other people that surround you, you're alone. I'm alone. We each have our own worlds we live in. Our thoughts, our trillions and trillions and trillions of memories, all still alive within us, create a world, and that's our world. That's the world we live in. And for a lot of us, an awful lot of us, that's set in stone. This is my world. This is who I am. Sorry if you don't like it, but this is what you got. This is who I am. It's not who I am. It's not who you are. We're not there. We're becoming. We're still becoming. You're still becoming. We need to be able to move beyond that static sense of self. But our worlds, they're not outside of us, they're in our minds. Each of us living in our own world, a world that exists only inside of our minds. We're looking out at other people, and each of them are living in their own worlds, in their own minds. And that doesn't mean that we can't come together, but we can't come together if our thinking is so solidly in place that we can't see how to bring other people's thoughts into ours. So when somebody else is talking about something, particularly if it's something that I disagree with, isn't it true that what I'm doing is just sitting there waiting for them to shut up so I can tell them what I think? I'm not really listening to them. Or maybe I'm listening, but I'm not hearing them. I'm not hearing them because I already have my thought pattern. Theirs is just bouncing off of it. And I'd like for it to be able to infiltrate in and become a part of me. But in order to do that, I have to stop being right, don't I? I have to stop being right. Someone said years ago, I wish it was me. Somebody said years ago, you can either be right or you can be loved. Take a choice. So I want to be loved and I want to be loved. So I want to be able to open my mind and let other people's thoughts come into mine and come in and look at, not be measured by my own thinking pattern, but be measured by truth. To be able to consider that. I mean, at one time we thought the world was flat. How many other things are we now thinking that are just not true, but we're pretty darn sure of it? So I'd like to propose a different idea. I'd like to suggest that our happiness, if we want to be happy, our happiness is not coming from what we do or what we have. Our happiness doesn't come from outside of us. The law of attraction says that the thoughts we hold in mind attract like magnets their reality. The thoughts we hold in mind are attracting their reality. They're attracting things that are like our thoughts. That's the law of attraction. And it's so powerful. It's so powerful. Can we just remember those words? The law of attraction. Let me just solidly put that in our minds and keep it there. The thoughts we hold in mind are magnets that attract their own reality. So if I have some anger, some resentment, or some discontent with somebody or something, and I hold that in my mind, it'll attract that same stuff. But if I can say, if I'm in forgiveness and acceptance of whatever's going on and whoever's going on, and then beyond that, I can think of what I really want and think of it in a clear, loving way, the law of attraction says that that'll come to me because those thoughts are magnets. For example, if we don't have money we need, what do? Do we go into a poverty mind and shut off that mind power that creates wealth? Then the law of attraction is magnetically attracting more poverty. It's really as simple as that. Rhonda Byrne, great mind, great thinker, said, if you have needing money in your vibration, then you'll keep attracting needing money. You have to find a way of being happy now, feeling good now, and being in joy now without the money, because those great feelings are how you will feel with the money. And the money doesn't bring happiness, but happiness brings money. Once again, those feelings are how you will feel with the money. That's the law of attraction. This is the way I'll feel when I have that money. Because the money doesn't bring happiness, but the happiness, that state of being, brings the money to fulfill that reality. Make sense? Even when we think something is making us happy, it actually comes from our thinking. Happiness comes first, then the happy event. Our thinking releases happiness hormones in our brain. First, my thinking tells me my experiences are happy, and that thought releases happiness hormones into my brain. What are those hormones? They're dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, and endorphins. And together, those hormones can make our lives a real joy. And they're right there. They're right there in your brain, getting ready to be released. They can relieve pain. They can uplift our moods. They can cause satisfaction. They can expand our memories, expand our memories. For those that are getting older, we're always going, oh man, I don't remember that. Well, it can expand our memories, awaken deep love and affection and intimacy, and just make us feel good all over. That's called living in joy. And you've heard me say many times, many times, that we can never accomplish our goals, no matter what they are, unless we're in joy. Because joy is the only source of true personal power. So let me just recap that for a minute. Our thinking controls our lives unless we control our thinking. And if we control our thinking, boy, and for a lot of us, that's a big step. But if we can control our thinking, then we can have our thoughts create joy. We can start thinking of joy, can thinking of ourselves as joyful. Start thinking of that. I know there might be somebody now that's listening saying, well, that's just naive. That's just naive. You have no idea what I'm going through. I have a dreadful disease. I just lost a loved one. I'm going to have to go file bankruptcy. Um, I've been disbarred or somehow abandoned by the people that I love or that I care for. And so you're going to tell me that I should start thinking of joy? I'm telling you that the way, pardon my being so rude, but the way you got where you are right now is by a thinking process that led you here. That same thinking can lead you out of there to a great joy. But you have to imagine joy first. You have to be able to imagine. You have to bring that into your mind. And you say, well, but I can't. There's no way I can do that. Somewhere in you, somewhere just buried deep inside of you, there's a little light, just a little tiny light, a little light that's joy. And if you focus on that, just focus on that, it'll expand. What was it? The way your mother loved you. What was it? The way it felt when you held your pet. That joy, just let it expand, let it expand, let it expand, let it expand until it becomes you. And keep your thinking focused on that. Joy is the only source of personal power. So you can change your life with those feel-good hormones, dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, and endorphin. They'll bring joy to every part of your life by relieving your pain, boosting your mood, awakening your satisfaction, expanding your memories, awakening your deepest love and affection, and just making you feel great. And you deserve to feel great. You didn't come here to suffer. You didn't come on this planet. You didn't come to this lifetime to suffer. If you're suffering, you don't have any value to the world. Stop suffering. I know you might have pain. I have pain too. We have pain. That doesn't mean we suffer. Accept the pain and move on. Those hormones are released by our thinking. And unless we train our minds to think optimistically, there's no chance of releasing these feel-good hormones. Let us remember that everything starts inside us. Our worlds are not outside of us. They're in our own minds. Each of us is living in our own world. Our world exists only inside of our minds. And we're in charge of that world. Now, taking charge of your thinking may seem hard, but as Thomas Fuller said, all things are difficult before they're easy. We want to think optimistically. But it seems hard because unless I take charge, my thought is the expression of all my memories, all my trillions and trillions of memories, going back every minute of my life. They tell me who I am and they tell me how to think. And our memories are our belief systems. And since a lot of our memories are erroneous, they're not accurate, our thoughts are often also inaccurate. They're the music of my past, singing all the time in my head and controlling my thoughts. And their music more often weakens me than strengthens me because I remember negative things more than I remember positive things. That's just a natural thing to do. But we have to change our attitude and think positive things, think beautiful things. We can do it. You can do it. I can do it. And it'll change our lives and help us change the world. Here's an amazing truth about memories. 60% of our memories, 60%, more than half, are from between the age 15 and 25. 60% of our memories are from between the age 15 and 25. And since we're having about 70,000 thoughts a day, each one of those are being tailored by those memories. So we need to take charge, my dear friend. And it's not that hard to do. The wonderful Maya Angelou said, "You're the sum total of everything you've ever seen, heard, eaten, smelled, been told, forgot. It's all there. Everything influences each of us. And because of that, I try to make sure that my experiences are positive." Well, wait a minute. Wait a minute. So there was this terrible plane crash and 67 people died between a helicopter and a plane that just crashed. I'm supposed to make that a positive experience? It is an experience. It did happen. It devastates me to think of it, to think of the families that are crying, that are in sorrow, but it already happened. I can't unhappy. It's already happened. So if I take that inside of me as a building experience, a new experience in my life, that widens and deepens my wisdom. And is it sad? Yes, it's sad. And do I feel really sorry for those people that are in such grief right now? Absolutely, absolutely. But this experience boldened me, encouraged me, made me bigger, taught me. It's not negative. It's not a negative thing. For me, it's something that builds me. Because I build not only from things that are beautiful, I build things that are dark if I allow them in. And if I don't allow them to warp my thinking into thinking that, well, then helicopters and planes will always crash. And I guess I'm not going to take a plane trip anymore because planes crash. I mean, so how do I override those old memories? How do we take charge of our thinking so that we can have joyful, successful lives? How do we do that? Here's how we take charge. This absolutely works for those who are willing to work with these three methods. So I've been talking about taking charge of my life by taking charge of my thinking. I've been talking about taking charge of my future by taking charge of my thinking, taking charge of my relationships, getting the relationships that I want, getting the wealth that I want, getting the health that I want. I've been talking about that. How do you do that? These three steps work perfectly. There are thousands and thousands and thousands of people who have used these three steps and they've gotten their lives completely changed. Question is, are we willing? So here's the first one. The first one is visualization. While our minds all of our thoughts are banging around inside of each other like bottled moths. Boom, 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 boom. If we can just stop. A friend of mine said once that his thoughts are like a tin can full of BBs being shaken. If we can just stop and visualize, see ourselves being happy, see ourselves being loved, see ourselves being successful. Visualize. I'm not asking you to lie to yourself. Use your imagination. Visualize. That's the first step. And the second step, and this is so important, is that we affirm our visualizations. That's called affirmation. We affirm that our visualization is true and present in our lives. Get a simple phrase that starts with the words I am and repeat it daily for 30 days. Can you do that? Repeat it many, 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 many times a day. Repeat it with your visualization. If you see yourself rich, if you see yourself healthy, if you see yourself being loved, if you see your relationship coming into fruition, whatever you see, just visualize it and then affirm it that it's so. Affirm it that it's so. And then lastly, gratitude. We have to become increasingly aware of the gifts life has given us and is giving us, and rejoice of the blessings of it. Rejoice. We become increasingly aware of the gifts life has given us. So those are the 3 steps. 1, 2, 3. You can have, I promise you, promise you, promise you. I've taught hundreds of thousands of people around the world. I know it works. I know it works. But there's a lot of times that it didn't work for a lot of people because they didn't do it. 3 steps: visualization, affirmation, and gratitude. Visualization, affirmation, and gratitude. VAG, VAG. If we can just visualize our lives being the way we want them to be and hold that vision and don't let a dark vision come in and disturb those, visualize it. Use your imagination. Daydream if you want to. And then affirm that that's true. Affirm that that's true. I am healthy and wealthy and wise. I am being loved. I am a lover. I am excited about life. I am handsome. I am beautiful. I am whatever those I ams are. Get them in, repeat it again and again and again all day long. Every time you do a visualization, embolden that visualization, solidify that visualization by your affirmation, and then become grateful, grateful, grateful. Teach yourself to be grateful. Teach yourself to be grateful. I'm asking people in my classes to write down 15 things every evening that they're grateful for at the end of each day. Write down 15 things. And I know that as time goes by, they could write all day long. I could write all day long. Boy, if I started writing the things that I'm grateful for, I just would never stop writing. Life is that full. And I know life is tough. I know life is tough for us. It's supposed to be tough. It's supposed to be tough. It's supposed to be, it's supposed to be a challenge because we're supposed to grow. We're supposed to keep getting bigger than we are. So we are coming up against challenges. Let's accept those challenges and go to work on them. Gratitude. Abraham Lincoln said, we can complain because rose bushes have thorns, or we can rejoice because thorn bushes have roses. Joyce Meyer, another wonderful mind, said, you cannot have a positive life with a negative mind. And the great ex-leader of Great Britain, great writer, great poet, great mind, Benjamin Disraeli said, nurture your mind with great thoughts, for you will never go any higher than you think. Thank you for being with me today. Thank you. I appreciate you. and I send you my love. If you'll stop by bobtrask.com, that's bobtrask.com, and hit the donate button, boy, I sure appreciate it. Thank you. And I'll see you next week.